Hello, welcome back to Kwaza Games. I hope everybody doing great this evening. Today we're going to be talking about NeverRage and we're going to be talking about our progress. Um, Again, this is Kwaza Games. We provide opportunity for developing talents to come on board and contribute in an organized and agile environment that allow them to practice time management and also have the freedom to bounce in and out of the system. Um, we do uh, provide a system that encourages responsibility, time management, and giving we give good responses towards people who are self-motivated. We give them feedback, and we pretty much just encourage people in our growing startup as they contribute towards the development of our assets, our projects. We do encourage them to keep learning the minute details that they have to learn, um, so that they can develop personally, so that when they get out there, they are suitable candidates for corporations that would like to hire them. So, without further ado, we're going to be reviewing a sprint review. We're going to be reviewing a sprint for meeting number one for NeverRage. As you guys know, NeverRage is an online MMO multiplayer game. So it is a very big undertaking by our startup, and the good thing about this is we have the hardest part figured out. Things like netcode, um, game design, the workflow. We already have that figured out. So right now we are working through everything and just going through them step by step, and we've been successful so far, and that's why we've actually reached this stage where we can actually share the history of what we've been doing. So let's get to the next part of this presentation. So we will be talking about meeting number one, and this phase pretty much in the sprint circle was a design phase focused on skills like the classes, their symbols, and also on equipments. So in this phase, we wanted to learn about the skill level of our contributors. Um, so what does this mean? Basically, we try to get everybody who's coming on board to explain what they are good at, what they are not good at, and things like that, so we can gauge the type of tasks that they can handle and so on. Um, it was actually during this phase that we decided um, to lean more into a fluid agile system that will pretty much allow people to work and start from where the previous person left off. So this system is the best system so far that we have, and and we know this because we've been tracking the progress, and so far we've never really had pushback from our contributors, and they once they get on board, we know those who are really motivated, self-motivated. Obviously, there are some members that we had to let go, and there are some members that come on board and they quietly quit in a sense. Um, this is not new. In every organization, in every system, there's always uh, there's still always a point. There's always places that you can improve, and so we were not surprised, but when we encountered members like these, we our reaction pretty much was to encourage them and try to redirect them and try to guide them through the system. Some people, I will talk about an example of. Actually, I'm gonna do it right now. So we had a modeler who was in college, and he pretty much was new to Blender. As you guys know, we use Blender as our main 3D modeling software. Um, Blender is amazing. If you want to get into 3D, you should check it out. Anyways, so we he talked about his current state, and was pretty much that he was busy in college, but he still wanted to learn something, and he said he didn't know how to use Blender. So what we did for him was not really different from what we do for everybody pretty much. After assessing his situation, we collected some resources, and instead of letting him go, we said, take these resources and pretty much prove to us that you can get through them, and prove to us that you are responsible, and you are self-motivated, because most of the job descriptions, the job description information pretty much is, we always like to try to tell people pretty much that we are looking for members who are self-motivated, who are responsible, who uh, work best in a fluid system, in an agile environment, because we do not, as you guys know, we are a startup. We do not pressure people. So he pretty much came on board, and he got the resources that we offered him, and he went through them in a week, in a sense. And the next week he came back and he said, I'm ready. And we gave him a model of a dagger, and in 3 days pretty much he modeled it perfectly, and that was a great success moment for us. I'm sure he was very, very excited. um, and that's just an example of what we try to do with our members, our contributors. And so if you are looking to join Kwaza Games, know that we are an easygoing company, and we do our best pretty much to find the hidden potential in our members, and we try to encourage them. And the most important thing that you have to know is that majority of the work pretty much is is all about how motivated are you, and how responsible are you, and how interested are you in developing your personal skills. Because you can come and join us, and you can just hang around and just follow the flow, and that's fine. But what we are looking for are motivated people, and people who are goal getter in a sense, because again, we are a startup, so we want people who have that drive, who have that hunger to get work done, who are able to realize when they have free time and when they should be working, and things like that. We do not have a strict system for everybody. So those who work best in a structured system that is very restrictive, on time, and everything is planned out from day one for you, we don't offer that. But what we offer is an environment that is fluid, that gives you resources when you need it, give you free time. We don't bother you once you pick a task. That's it. And yeah, pretty much that's what we are, and we've been successful so far. So If you would like to join us, you can join us on our Discord. The description, I mean yeah, the description of this video might have the link there. You can also find us on LinkedIn, and all you have to do is look up Kwaza Games LLC, and you'll find us. And so it's time to move to the next point. All right, so on the board here is an overview of the various department, various groups. We have 2D, and then we have 3Ds, 3D artists, and this is all in the art department. So for the 2D group, as you guys can see, we have had about 4 meetings. These are asynchronous events where pretty much everything is documented, and we share this information with our contributors and our members, and they go through every task that is available, and they pick whatever they want to do, and then we entrust that overall process to them. Obviously, we do have a workflow, um, and it's a very simple workflow. Pretty much, as you work through the as you work through the production process, you can present your task to us, and we can preview it, and at the end we take you through all of that process, and at the end we take the asset that you create and we preview it, and then we give you feedback if there if further modification has to be made, or we let you know that you were successful if the asset passes the integration testing. And all of that is done by me, um, and also your fellow member on the team will also be there to give you feedback and also encourage you to get through the workflow pretty much. So we have the 2D group here. The meeting number one, we had Chloe Smith, we have Curtis Randall, and we also have Varon Sharma. Um, these three individuals really stepped up, and it was because of them that we were able to get majority. I didn't say like we didn't get all of the work done. That maybe there was like one that we didn't get through, but these individuals really came through, and they really stepped up, and they proved that they were responsible, independent, and they had that hunger that I was talking about earlier, and yeah, so this credits goes to these guys for meeting one. They were the reason why it was successful, and doing this meeting, as you guys could have seen earlier, we're trying to design some artwork for. I'm gonna actually exit. I'm gonna exit this to finish the rest of the video, but yeah, let's just continue because I'm gonna exit this to cover the rest. So meeting number three, we had Alex, we had Chloe Smith again, we have Curtis, we had Giovanni Roca, and Lena El Bar. We have Shannon Maxwell, we have Trinity Ashcraft, and we have Varon Sharma. And these are all the people who contributed so far. And some of these members are not with us in the team right now, because after contributing, maybe something showed up, and they they wanted to move on, take their skill, and maybe get a better opportunity with it. So we allow them to do that, and that we are pretty much grateful for all they did for the company, and their contribution will always be with us. And as you guys can see here, we are currently giving them credit, just in case they need, if just in case they look back and they want to see if they actually made an impact. Yes, you guys did. So that's why we are doing this. All right, so for 3D, we have Oka Victor, we have Valentine, Yusefo, we have William Azemba, and in meeting number three, we had Abdul Malik Shahan, we had Jordan Smith, we had Oka Victor again, and then we had Omesa Ibrahim, we have Valentine as well. So Valentine remained with us. Curtis also remained. These two individuals really stood out, and they continue to stand out in every work that they do. And this is a credit being me being directed towards them because they have done some excellent work with us. So that's pretty much what I want to cover. So as for overall application development, in our pipeline right now, we've already documented the following. Um, Also credit to Dropbox. Dropbox is a company that provide uh, tiers of services. So if you would like to have your projects and manage them and everything, and keep your whatever you have in one place, pretty much. I would like to shout out Dropbox for allowing us this opportunity, and you can start for free and you can upgrade as you go along. So check out Dropbox. I'm not being sponsored for this, but I'm very grateful for their service. We are grateful as Kwaza Game for their service. Anyways, we have a gameplay loop here, which we already decided. Um, so gameplay loops, I'll just give you guys an overview. We are designing an open world map that has a core in the center of the map. We have um, we have a mobile style design in the middle where players will be sieging the other castle, and this is a throne war type of game where kingdoms will be taken down for brief moments, and the gods of these kingdoms will try to take back their sanctuaries, and all of this will contribute towards the conflict, and we think players will enjoy this because we know that there's a desire for survival style MMO, like a zombie shooter, and it's not the game is not a zombie shooter, but there is a survival aspect to it in the gameplay loop that um, is similar to a zombie survival, where there will be creatures that will be sent to recapture the kingdom once the kingdom have been sieged and they've been defeated. So that's part of the core gameplay loop. As you guys go through this, you will have higher stages where you will encounter even stronger enemies, and the map itself is designed to uh, change every time so that players can continue to have a slightly fresh experience, even though they will be doing the same thing for a long time. At least there'll be a different scenario in a sense, or different uh, visual aspect to their experience every single time. With that, we also have the character AI design. We have designed the back end of the application to integrate with our Web3 project, and we hope to have those synced. And actually, this part will really help us in the next stage of our application development process. because after NeverRage, there will be a different new application that we'll start working on, which will start next year. And this year, this is gonna be a metaverse design uh, project, and that's gonna be super huge. So we are actually designing a system to experiment right now, so that when we get to that stage, everything is well thought out. So we have the game book world, and we're basically looking at the various themes. Do we want a game to be a theme park MMO, or do we want it to be a sandbox? And out of those, like the decision of that is usually determined by the game world. How do you design the game world? So when we design the game world, um, we realized that it's a theme park starting and a sandbox ending would have been good for the game. So that's what we took. Then we have game book updates, and we basically put everything, all the updates that we're gonna have into this folder. And after that, we have game book time and aging, and we have the paragons. Paragons are basically abilities and unique abilities that the players will have based on the deity or the god that they choose as their pantheon. Um, we also have mounts planned out. The game will have mounts for players. And next in line, we are going to be designing monsters. The game lore is very simple. You are an avatar in this game world, and your goal is to help the emissary of the creator of this world to defeat its enemy and find a treasure that will help you guys break into Web 3, into our Web 3 application. And the sooner you guys can do this, the sooner you guys can experience the application that we're going to be working on. And next we have equipment, which we've already designed. And then we have the currency that we are also working on. um, then we have competition. We have combat system that we've already decided. The game is going to be action combat, very similar to inspired by Vindictors and games like Shadow of Mordor. Even though we won't be using their Python as a pattern nemesis system. We will not be using that because it's actually a legal situation that we don't want to get into. But we do have a dueling system where you can capture a node and you can get challenged, and players can actually use that to as their PvP uh, source, like a motivation, because there will be rewards added to the system. And then we have the game chapters, basically the lore, the tiny bits that contribute towards the lore. Um, those are included into the chapters. And then we have the avatar training system, which is the online system for the machine learning AI that we're trying to design. This year, every interaction you have with your avatar will contribute towards the machine learning system, where then afterwards you will be taking that data over to our next project, which is the metaverse project. And we hope all of this is successful, and by next year we'll start working on that metaverse. And we hope this game will actually kick off and actually be a successful project. And we are doing everything to work towards that. Right. So next thing here we have even more stuff to show you guys. And game book, the ancestry, blood and bloodline. I mean the blood type. So ancestry is basically the background of the characters, and the family type, like the body shape and everything, your ancestors. This is the design. Even so, while most games take the race and things like that, right? And present that alone as a background. We instead took the path of presenting blood types, and the blood types are things that will contribute towards how your character look, which origin it has. So, are you from a barbarian family? You have a barbarian blood type, and because you have that blood type, you'll be able to do certain things that other blood types are not capable of doing. People from different backgrounds are not capable of doing, and things like that. And so this actually brings a whole new variety and a whole new aspect of role playing into the game. So that's that. Next thing we have abilities. We have his abilities, and there are many different abilities here, but we've designed the abilities in the project to be accessible by every single blood type. So you can be a barbarian, and you can be using uh, cleric spells. You can be uh, like all the abilities in the game. You can be a cleric and also use a rogue ability, a rogue weapon. That's what I was trying to get to. So because the weapon system in this game is gonna be whatever you see you can pick up is okay for you to use, because it's gonna be designed that way. We've actually decided to make the abilities fluid, and in order to do that, we had to make it a big generic in a sense that the ability should be triggered by anyone, um, and it should be available from the get go. So it means that you don't have to be level 20 to access your abilities. All you do is you pick up your ability, talent, and you use them by interacting with the world, and it actually progresses. And then the higher it progress, the more value you get out of it from using the ability. And if you want to switch off to a new type of ability or to a new weapon system, we also have a weapon system where the longer you use a weapon, the more powerful it becomes, and you can actually switch and decide your overall class in a sense, by which type of weapon you use and how you use your abilities. And so we hope to test that pretty soon. Uh, and we will try to get the early access of the game by the end of this month out there. Even though it might not have all of these systems that we have in here. As you guys know, this is an in-depth system, and it might take some time to get all of them out. So yeah, but hopefully we'll try to get the early access out soon as possible, so players can try using abilities and stuff like that. And then we have a few bosses. Obviously, it's an open world end game, so uh, not really an end game open world, but the game itself is an open world application. So there are a few bosses planned, and we will have a poster system, like a bounty hunting system, where you can go and pick up these poster from the minions of these bosses, and you can eventually get a challenge. You will eventually get to challenge these bosses, and so on, right? So that's the system that we have, and we hope this all of this can actually contribute towards a great experience. Um, Anyways, we will now look into the meetings. During this phase, meeting one, what we wanted to do was wanted to let our contributor know that we were going to be tracking their progress, and pretty much we wanted to let them know that they will eventually be designing creatures and landscape, and we try to set the bar as high as possible so that they can be motivated to improve and improve the quality of the work. And actually, with the bar being set high, at least our artists will actually try to improve their skills, and they will actually have a goal or something that they can strive towards. Right, that's what we're trying to do for our artists. So we went through various uh, uh, processes. This year was meeting number one. We obviously aren't using the Dungeons and Dragons, but this year is a history. We were intentionally trying to uh, design the application to be directly referencing a reference of Dungeons and Dragons, but we were unable to uh, uh, receive a permission from Wizard of the Coast to do that. So we had to, which was actually a great opportunity because we were going to be sticking with a static system. And instead of that, we actually had to broaden our scope and try something new and something a bit risky. So this is the framework, a simple framework that we give to the artists. We track the date, the tax number, the completion status, and so on for each designer. So Curtis was given, selected task number one, and this was a preview work that he did. Very amazing stuff. I was astonished when I saw this. Um, and he did a lot of detail work on his various stages, and we were able to get to a decent state where I can actually pull up the Photoshop document that you share with me, and I could like change the images, the colors and whatnot, and just preview it, and everything was fantastic. You can see that he has a very uh, clear understanding of concept design. As you can see, his organization skill, uh, very impressed. I was impressed by his work, and that's that. So this was meeting number one, and we imported a work that he did into Unity, and we previewed it, and it looked great. And we actually ran it into uh, the deploy version of the application, the build of the application, and it was there, and it was great. So next thing we had was the bar class. So let's talk about a barbarian, guys. Barbarians are savages in a sense, and we had to let our concept designer know that they were not designing a simple class or an easygoing class. There are barbarians that are easygoing, but for the most part, they had to be aggressive to survive. When you think about barbarian, you think about the old age, uh, nomads, or hunters, and like pillaging and waging war, savage war, and just the class was a very active class, so we had to let our concept artists notice so that they can design appropriately. So we said the barbarian class was a raging dudes class that uses axe, clubs, their limbs, like their hands or whatever, anything they can get their hands on, and that was the description that we had, and pretty much what he came up with was quite appealing towards the overall design and aesthetic, and so we stuck with that. And we have the bard, which is actually the opposite of a barbarian, and very chill, flexible, socially uh, focus, a very outgoing class. And so we have a description of social class that uses musical instruments and depends on agility, magic, and persuasion when in combat. Obviously, our bar class will be able to play musical tunes. Uh, Again, it's just in or this. We are keeping this here as a history, just because this was the exact things that we were trying to do when we started off, and obviously we did not copy uh, the full description of a bard, um, like with the D&D concept of D2, D3 dice roll and stuff like that. We didn't continue with that. Instead, we had to be a bit more creative. Anyways, Curtis Randall, as you guys can see, this was when he completed the task, and all of this is being documented. We have the final concept art he made, and we were able to input it and preview it. And every integration testing pretty much goes through the uh, the the minute details that you went through to produce the assets, and we try to give you the best possible feedback so that you can improve your skills and stand out when you are out there uh, working in a larger organization. So we have the paladin class, and this is the symbol that we had. All right, so we're gonna stop here for the just gonna scroll all the way down, and we also had a presentation. All right, so this here was the ranger, and I mean druid, and this is the druid symbol, and yeah, pretty much. So it's a nature worshiping class that uses divine power, and so on. All right, so that's that, right? Next thing we have here is the 3D department, and we obviously did the same thing for these guys. We gauge their situation, their skill level, and we set the bar high for them to strive towards. And for the most part, our artists are more on the environmental side, and we are actually currently looking for creatures designers, people who can make bipedal, quadrupedal creatures, like creature on a four who uses all of these to move their four limbs and stuff to move. So yeah, we are looking for creatures designers. When it comes to environmental assets, our artists are very, very amazing at what they do, and you guys are about to see some of the work. So we were trying to design some gears for the characters in this phase. These very doable tasks that we gave out to our members, and we gave them some references. Obviously, these images are not ours. So credit to whoever made these, and but this is what we came up with after some work, and yeah. So we have the mace, we have hammer, we have axes, two uh, two-face axe, two-headed axe. Yeah, two-headed. I think that's what it's called. And then we have some club or whatever that is, and yeah. So we integrated these into Unity. We previewed them. As you guys can see, there was a mirror modification error here. What's the what did we do about this, right? So every issue is actually documented, and in this state there was a mirror modifier issue, and I think I actually released a video to cover how to resolve that when I imported this, and I checked it out in the Blender. And then we had a role class. This here was a lot of work, and the example I gave earlier, this was about Zonda Yu. Zonda actually came through and he made those two daggers. As you can see here, he made it daggers, and not two, but we're gonna duplicate them to make it two, duplicate it to make it two. So I just said daggers because that's what we actually are gonna end up doing. So yeah, and then we have the archer equipment here, the bow, and this is what we've actually got so far, and it's pretty amazing. Um, how fast these guys were actually able to get these works done, and I was really impressed. We had a gauntlet that we weren't able to get somebody to do. Again, this here is a different type of model. This more is more I like to say organic. It's more I would say like it's more like a humanoid type of design. So um, again, our artists are not interested in a sense right now for those type of designs. So this should not really be a this, in my opinion, is not really a difficult task to do. So if you are interested in like helping us do things like these, we are looking for artists who can do stuff like that for us. And yeah, so we have sword. Our artists really love swords, so they made a lot of swords. This one here was assigned to Oka Victor, and he came through. He made a lot of decent work. And as you guys can see, we have low poly, right? About 1,000. How you call it? Oh my God, the word is gone. Decimation or whatever. Poly counts, right? The poly count was 1,000 ish, right? 500 ish to 1,000. That's pretty much as far as we can as we want to go when it comes to designing our low poly models. Because we want people to be able to download the application and run it even if they're on Windows 5 or Windows 8 and whatnot. So that's the main aim of our project. And also it also gave us the room of speed. It also gave us speed in our development process, and so we were able to knock out about 26 new models in 2 months. So that was very impressive, first off, and it really showed that the design framework that we chose was the best way to go. So as you guys can see here, we have the wizard class, the staff, and this here is not an image, an outsourced, like an image from outside. This is something that somebody actually did, and this was done by Oka Victor, and pretty similar design to the reference. But yeah, so this is what we end up getting from our artists, and pretty decent work. We were able to import that into Unity and preview it. And there's more. I wish I could stop here, but there's more. I don't like talking too much, but I gotta keep going. Anyways, we have shields, and again, this here is not from an outside source. It's actually from something somebody did within the company, and this is the reference. We don't own these images, obviously, but it was done by Valentine Useful. You can look him up on LinkedIn. He's a very humble guy, amazing artist, and he surprised me every time. I was about to say frequently. So he surprised me frequently, and yeah. So this was the work. We imported it into Unity and previewed them. As you guys can see here, these will be loots that you can get. Different type of shield with different type of stats, and yeah, so prepare to be fighting each other to get those sweet rewards and loots and whatnot. So we wanted to design a starting zone for NeverRage at some point. Obviously, we needed to add a tutorial because the game uh, is a theme park starter and sandbox end game. So we designed a little castle, and these are the steps that we went through. It started from a basic low poly grayish mesh, and we Valentine put all the texturing and everything on it, and we were able to get to this stage, and we were able to preview it in Unity. Obviously, this took a lot of work, and designing things like this will take a lot of time. Um, I'm saying this because in the future we will I mean, because in the future we will have even more of these models, and we've actually designed a modular system that will allow us to redesign this model and implement them. NeverRage is now a large application, so we won't be doing any duplication of assets to release them as modules. Once we release NeverRage fully, we will actually stop producing new assets to the game, and the rest will be a sandbox aspect where players can actually create their own content and put that into the game. So these were some medicinal tools, rogue assets, and that's that for meeting number one. And obviously we have meeting number three and everything so on, but we're gonna stop here because the main goal for today was to review meeting number one. And thanks for watching. You can find us on LinkedIn, and my name is Eddie Tia. I am the lead programmer and designer of the overall project and CTO pretty much, and everything you want to know about the project you can get by asking me. You can also look us up and get information if you want without having to meet with me pretty much. So that's all I want to say. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys hang in there. Game development is a very tough undertaking, especially MMO development, and we don't want to spoil the content that we are trying to present to you guys. We don't want to share every single thing that we are designing because we want it to be a bit novel, and a little bit new. Want to keep it fresh for you guys, so you can actually have a surprise factor, and that's why it like making this decision to actually present this inside look at the actual project was a bit difficult for me, but I have to do this so that you guys can at least know like the steps and pretty much what we've been doing so far in the background. And I hope you guys like this because it was a huge decision. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.